pitch different documentaries and series to MJ featuring the footage, but he would always turn it down until the producer of The Last Dance was able to make it work. And it all happened when he had a meeting with Michael Jordan on the day that LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers were celebrating their 2016 championship win with that big parade in the streets of Cleveland. So the producer, Mike Tollin, said, quote, "The universe has such a funny sense of humor because when I woke up, I put on ESPN while I'm getting dressed, and there's LeBron and the Cavaliers parading through the streets of Cleveland with the trophy that they just won." So, of course, some people are wondering if LeBron taking one step closer to being the GOAT was enough to get MJ to release the doc and to reclaim his place on the throne. And it's interesting to take a look back in time because when LeBron made his debut in the NBA straight out of high school, Michael Jordan wasn't really that impressed with him. He acknowledged that there was a lot of potential in him as an athlete, but he didn't think that he would be in the upper echelon of shooting guards and small forwards. So this is his quote. He said, "I think once James gets on this level, he's not in the upper echelon of shooting guards and small forwards. I think he's towards the bottom. He has unbelievable potential, but he hasn't played against the competition consistently in college or the pros. He's played against high school kids who are probably under 6 feet and have the talent of story writers 5 years from now. If he takes on the dedication of being the best basketball player he can be and continues to improve and accept challenges and not get comfortable with what's been given to him or what the expectations may be, he can definitely be a good pro." Well, obviously, we've seen that LeBron has had a tremendous career in the NBA. So my question for you, and I know I'm going to get two entirely different answers from the both of you, but do you guys think that Michael Jordan wanted to show, his era dominating the league as a way to prove to LeBron and everybody else that he is still number one? Britt, I want you to go first on this one.
Okay, I'm kind of confused. What does Adam Silver do? What did Adam Silver do?
Okay, so Adam Silver had the idea. This was when he was the head of NBA Entertainment, and he had the idea of documenting the Bulls season. But in order to get Michael Jordan to comply and to be okay with it, he said, "We're going to film everything, but you get to have total control over the footage. So you decide when and if it gets released." And then so this producer, Mike Tollin, was able to pitch Michael Jordan on the day that LeBron and the Cavaliers were celebrating their championship win. So that was Adam Silver's role in it.
Okay, so what is your question exactly?
So my question is, do you think that MJ was motivated to share this part of his career as a way to kind of like reclaim or prove his place on the throne as being the GOAT?
No, I mean, obviously it does take a toll on, like, a lot of people didn't get to see Michael Jordan, so it's relevant to do it, but I don't think he was, like, scared of, like, LeBron James and what LeBron James was doing. Like, LeBron James wears 23 because of Michael Jordan. He's been huge with, like, talking about Michael and all that kind of stuff throughout his career, so I don't think people lost track, and, like, I don't think he was like, oh, now people are going to forget about me because there's LeBron James. So, no, I don't think that's what his motivation was. I think it's just like, oh, well, I totally probably forgot that we even had this footage, because really it was the producer that watched the finals or the parade and stuff and had the idea to go to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan never said that, like, oh, I was watching this and then I decided to do this. Like, it literally just was, like, dumb luck. I don't think Michael Jordan was watching the Cavs parade at all.
Okay, so Jackie, what's your take on it? Do you think that there was a little bit of worry that Michael Jordan was having when LeBron was kind of climbing his way up to the top and proving his place in the NBA?
I mean, I don't think it was worry. I kind of agree with Britt. I think it might have been dumb luck on one side. But on the other side, too, I think that, I mean, and we've seen this with pretty much every old head in the game, there is a certain amount of disdain for the younger ones coming in. And so I think, maybe for him to see, first of all, sometimes I think when we make this comparison between MJ and LeBron, it's fun, but LeBron is literally his own animal. He's kind of a freak of nature, and so the comparison sometimes is weird. So I think maybe MJ was like, oh, let me make sure they don't forget. Not that anybody's ever going to forget Michael Jordan, but maybe there was that moment to see that there is a different style of play coming up, that's different from his, that people are kind of talking about. But I do think it was kind of, maybe it brought it to the forefront of his memory because it brought it to the forefront of someone else's memory. I don't know if it was one of those things where he was like, let me just do this.
Maybe I should release this now, right?
Yeah, I don't think it happened like that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I know that Michael Jordan was very savage, but I don't think he's like petty and insecure like that, where he would
I think he can be petty.
He's
but
petty,
I just don't think
maybe
right.
and not insecure, not petty out of insecurity. So I agree with you. But there was this narrative going on Twitter about, you know, like, oh, he wanted to prove that he's still the GOAT, and he wanted to show this you know, point in his career. But I don't know.
That's a marketable narrative. That's a narrative that's always going to be pushed. The comparison between MJ and LeBron is always going to be pushed, even when there's not a comparison to be made. And I think this is one of those times where there's not a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm curious to hear
Jackie
from you,
actually agreed on it.
What?
What's up, Gary?
I know. Yeah. I was expecting two entirely different answers, but Jackie, I do want to hear from you, just because we do know that you are a bronzexual through and through.
I got
what
my
do you
LeBron
think about
on right now. You see him? I don't know if I'm seeing
Are you wearing the leggings too? That's the real question.
I don't have on the leggings, but I do have on my knee-high LeBron socks that you can't see.
I love it. So what do you think about this quote that MJ said about LeBron when LeBron went into the NBA straight from high school, how he said he's never going to be in the upper echelon? Do you have any thoughts on that before we move into the next story?
I think, again, it's the same thing. I think that, you know, sometimes people slept on MJ's talent a little bit. You know what I mean? We know that. There's documented facts about that. Magic and Allen Iverson weren't a big fan of him when he came into the league, you know, because they were just like, oh, why is he getting all this hype? He doesn't deserve this hype. That's an old head mind frame. So I'm not mad at I hope LeBron is, you know, because I put LeBron on in a different category, just kind of socially and mentally. But if LeBron says this about Zion, you know, which we've kind of seen him be somewhat petty towards Zion. So it's an old head thing. I'm not mad at it. It happens. I'm not mad at it at all.
But to be clear, he didn't say he was never going to be an upper echelon player. He said at that time he wasn't. And if he worked hard and did this, that, and the third, he very well could see him be that player. He just hopes he doesn't get stuck in this bubble of what he was at that time, which I think that's just like, I think if a player is saying something like that about you, they actually believe in you a lot and want to make sure you don't turn out to be that guy. So I think he good and well thought LeBron was going to be who LeBron James is. And he wanted to bring that out of LeBron, which is what Michael Jordan was known and really good for, is like he might, slap you or do some stuff and talk whatever about you, but he's doing that to make you a better player.
And people forget too that, you know, at that time, people coming straight from high school to the NBA was an anomaly. It wasn't the norm, you know. So for MJ to really kind of value his college coach, and he's talked about how that really helped him in the league, and to know that LeBron's not going to get that, and he has just been playing with high school players, it's got to make you think, because MJ has said he had to go into high school and prove himself. You know, he didn't make it. His mom had to encourage him. And then he knew he had to prove himself in the NBA. Versus LeBron, he's had all this star power where people have been hyping him up from high school. And that doesn't always translate. So I think I agree with Britt. I think that this is one of those educational statements, because if you get stuck and believe in your own hype and you never try to do better, then you're not going to make it to that upper echelon. So again, Britt and I are in agreement on this one again. This is a crazy day.
I love it. It's the two sides finding peace. Right? Amazing. I'm going to take us into our second story. So if you watch the Michael Jordan documentary, you know that the second episode had a focal point about Scottie Pippen and his insane 7-year, $18 million deal that he signed in 1991. So everyone was talking about it, and Larsa Pippen, his ex-wife, went onto Twitter and posted something for the first time since July. So she tweeted a screenshot of an article that lists his career earnings at $109 million, just over $109 million, and said, "Thanks for your concern, but Scottie did okay." People thought it was kind of a bad look to be tweeting about her ex-husband's earnings and to insert herself into that conversation. But I want to know what you guys think the motivation was in posting that. Like, was she trying to prove that they did fine when they were together? Was she embarrassed that she'd been married to an athlete that had less money compared to other athletes? Okay, so Britt, can you start off with that one?
one word, clout.
Yes.
This is a woman who hangs out with the Kardashians. That's what they do. They got to insert their name into something to be relevant. And she's like, ooh, the Last Dance documentary. Oh, that's my ex-husband. Let me get my clout up and say something that literally I have nothing to do with. Like, she didn't even marry him till like 97 or whatever. Like, so she actually was on when he already got the better contracts. And yes, he did make more than Michael Jordan did in his career. We all know Michael Jordan never made over $100 million while he was playing. But it's like all irrelevant. Like, there's no point. Like, we know Scottie Pippen is on the jump every day. We know he does his other stuff. Like, everybody knows he's not broke. Like, there was no point of you even saying anything. We know you get paid on your child support payments. We know you got the money. Like, you got your whole body done. You are going on vacations with the Kardashians. We know you got money. Like, there's no point in even saying anything. But she did it for the clout.
Yeah. Okay. So she wasn't trying to say, hey guys, like, it's okay, everything turned out well. You think it was just a purely clout move?
No, there was no good intentions behind that post at all. And if I took it as, I mean, I had to take a step back and be like, okay, let me not, because I'm not a big fan of this woman. She's done some real not fandom worthy things, but to me, I took it as, oh, I'm still getting my check. He's doing fine. That's how I took it. That's the look that I think a lot of people probably took it. This is one of those times when you should do what we always say and say less. You know what I mean? It wasn't a good look.
Yeah, I looked at it and thought it seemed a little bizarre and a little inappropriate, and I think a lot of people felt the same way. Clearly you two felt the same way. I'm gonna jump into our third story. It's a bittersweet story. So Gigi Bryant's dream was always to end up in the WNBA, and it came true on Friday. So the league actually honored her dream as well as the other victims in the crash. The WNBA commissioner Kathy Engelbart announced the 3 picks in alphabetical order to start the virtual draft, and they played messages from their 3 families. It was very difficult to watch. I just want to read what Vanessa said. She said, "Thank you so much for honoring my Gigi and selecting her to be an honorary draft pick this year. It would have been a dream come true for her. She worked tirelessly every single day. She wanted to be one of the greatest athletes of all time, just like her daddy. Kobe and Gigi loved the WNBA. I want to congratulate all of this year's draft picks. Work hard, never settle, use that Mamba mentality." So it was really touching, a nice tribute to these young athletes who did want to end up in the WNBA. I don't really have any specific questions about this, but Jackie, what are your thoughts on how they honored these 3 victims?
So this one was tough for me because I swear, for the last couple years been going on and on about how the WNBA is going to completely shift once Gigi is in the league. I mean, we've had some big names. We've had Tamika. We've had Lisa Leslie. We have, Brittany Griner.
Sabrina now.
Sabrina now. I think this draft class, I'm really super excited about Sabrina. I'm excited to see what Cox does over in Indiana. But the truth of the matter is, with all of these big names, the face of the NBA hasn't changed. They still have real low numbers as far as attendance. They don't really have the stock value to even compare to the NBA. They just don't. I mean, I go to at least a couple of WNBA games every year, and it's easy to walk in, you know what I mean? There's just not a lot of people in the stands. And to me, I was just super excited because I just felt in my heart that was going to completely change once Gigi got in, not only because of her talent, because we know Kobe has said that she has it. She's better than he was at her age. So that's a huge thing. But to know that he supported her every step of the way, he was going to put his name on it, he was going to be there, that's automatically going to bring more people to the stands. And I just thought we were going to see an entirely competitive league. And to know that was taken, and to hear us really have to, listen to Vanessa. I mean, and, again, I thought that it was beautiful that they honored all of the victims, but I think
Alyssa and Peyton,
yeah, I thought that was beautiful as well, because they had a great relationship too. But I think that for those of us who are waiting for the day where the WNBA is really competitive, Gigi meant something a little different to us. And so it was sad. It was very difficult Vanessa had a tough weekend. She really did.
Yeah, she did. So Britt, I'm wondering if you think that having, Gigi and Alyssa and Peyton be honored, will that inspire more people to start viewing WNBA games now that they know I mean, I guess we've always known how meaningful it was to Kobe and Gigi, but do you think it could change the way we watch WNBA games?
I think in the last couple years, anyway, I think people have started. I always make sure I go to at least 1 or 2 Sparks games every single year. My sister's actually on the dance team for the Sparks, so it's even like more of a push to do it. But she's been on the dance team the last 2 years as well. And obviously, we know this last year they all got a pay increase. They're going to be making more money, all of that kind of stuff, which is way overdue. But I think now with NBA actually like putting their stamp on approval for the WNBA, I think that's helped. I mean, I've gone to some Sparks games where you see Kobe there, and I actually always see D Wade at games. He goes to a lot of Sparks games and stuff like that when he's in town, and he'll have his whole family. His sons go, all the boys and stuff. So I think it's once the NBA players kind of start putting the stamp on it, and you see them at games, and then players just get, or kids get like, oh, so-and-so goes to this game, and it's cool now, so I'm going to go too. I think you'll start seeing more and more people, because even between last year and this year, or I guess not this year because we didn't have anything, right? Between last year and the year before, like, you literally saw a difference in just how many people were at the games and stuff. It's more and more every single year. And obviously, let's not forget, like, the NBA before, like, the Jordan stuff was happening and Jordan came in, like, nobody was at games too. Like, they were on a decline. Like, people stopped going to games and attending and whatever. And you just need that one star, and maybe it's Sabrina. And obviously, all the support she's gotten. Like, Kevin Durant was like, "Welcome to Brooklyn, Sabrina," and whatever. So, like, more the NBA players and other people, like, make it like a cool thing to go and support women's basketball. I think, like, everyone else will just follow suit. It sucks that it has to be that way, because the WNBA games are really fun to watch. I don't know if you guys have ever been to one. I know Jackie has, but, like, they're really fun games to watch. So, and like Chris always says, the best shooters are actually the female players, and they really are. Like, it's fun. It's high intensity. I feel like you see more threes because most of them can't dunk or whatever, but the threes that you see, it's like literally every team has a group of Splash Sisters, you know? Like,
yeah, they do.
So I think the more we start supporting and stuff like that, as far as, like, the people from the top, it'll trickle down to just everyday fans going to games and stuff like that. So I would hope, that this would be an extra push. But because Sabrina had those 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 1,000 assists, and that was more than any man or female ever got in the NCAA, I think she's, like, maybe the star that the WNBA needs. And because she's going to a big team in New York that is with media coverage all over the place, like, that's only going to add to it. Like, if a New York team or, like, a LA team, like, if you get a star player like that, like when LA got Candace Parker and stuff, like, it literally just changes the game because there's more media attention. So it's thankful she went to a team like in one of those cities versus going to, like, Minnesota or something like that, where, like, yeah, you are this big star here. Minnesota's won a couple championships in the last couple of years, but they also don't get that media attention that an LA team or a New York team would.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that wraps up my segment, you guys. So Chris decided to ditch the gals today, and it's just the three of us. So Jackie is going to be taking on the post-up. So you, Jackie.
All right.
No, sorry.
You got to say it like Chris.
All right,
go. You got to say it like Chris.
Wait. Let me get loose. Okay, ready? Post-up. Representing for Chris Quarantine Edition. Is that good? Okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right. So first up, it's been a lot of fun over the weekend. Well, Sunday specifically with the Last Dance docu-series. I swear I love CJ more and more every week. Before the Last Dance premiered on ESPN, he posted this tweet that said, "Serious question. What is the name of the 10-part series with Uninterrupted going to be, or will he do a 6-part series for the number 6?"
That tweet.
Yeah. Thank you for checking that. I'm trying to read the tweet. And then he said, or will he do a 6-part series for number 6? Hashtag the kid from Akron. 3-1. We not done. Hashtag chosen. Hashtag one last stroll. Did we get the tweet up yet?
No.
No. All right. Well, I really like the CJ tweet because I'm excited for at some point I think we'll get a LeBron docu-series. It's kind of inevitable since he's got his own production company. So the next tweet, I love this one as well. So Giannis and his mini-me were focused on the MJ docu-series. So Mariah gets the award for the double entendre because she posted this tweet with them watching it and says, "The last dance featuring the two best duos ever to do it." Do we have that tweet? Because it's super cute. Ooh, maybe we don't. All right, so is it because I'm not Chris? There it is. So it's Scottie Pippen and MJ, of course, and then Zion and his little mini-me. I thought this was cute because it could be, or Zion, I'm sorry, Giannis and
wait,
his
Zion got a baby now?
Girl.
What happened over this weekend?
Right? That baby was born quick. But so Giannis and his mini-me, I thought it was super cute because I think they're a cute little duo as well. So I thought that was awesome.
Jackie, you're just trying to blow through these because I had something to say about the title of the thing, okay? Because I was reading the comment section and literally there were some really funny ones. Two I want to shout out really quick. One of them said it should be entitled 3-6 Mafia.
Oh Lord.
And the other one said it should be called the cast dance because he casts what players he wants to play with.
I love the cast dance. That's cute. I love it. I am because Chris be having a lot of post-ups. I can't believe his list is this long. I'm like, damn. Okay, let me get these. Okay, let's see. Where was I at? All right, so now we got the bestie. The bestie kind of did not so best friend post on this one. You see Britt's grinning from ear to ear, so you already know it's some shade involved. But this one was cute because D-Wade is basically saying that MJ is the GOAT. He said basically MJ had that whatever it is, MJ was born to be the GOAT, and then somebody responded to that with LeBron looking at D-Wade like he's crazy. Dare you be my best friend and say something like that? I thought that was
and former teammate and won a championship with me, and you're gonna do me like this, bro?
Right. I
love that.
From drowning, and you can't. What?
Right.
How dare you?
Get on a banana boat together, my guy.
Right. That's special. I'm not sitting on a banana boat with just anybody. That was great. I loved it. And then I also love D-Wade, which is all about, co-signing on stuff. Because we had, of course, Max is nice, and he did this impression of LeBron and Patrick Beverley. And let's post that up if we can, because it's super cute. Because he says, y'all stupid, but you are on point with this one.
I love that he's using the sweatband as his beard, as his LeBron beard.
So good.
This is Patrick Beverley and LeBron James. This is epic.
Yeah, I think this is the most accurate one we've seen.
Right. I thought the Splash Brothers one was kind of...
Yeah, the Splash Brothers was good too.
Screenings and stuff, but Patrick Beverley really do be damn near molesting people. It's crazy. And,
hey, you little guy, he got to get on that defense around them ankles sometimes.
I didn't know. That's how I didn't know that was the
excuse. He only 6 feet.
But he do be like all up in your nose hairs. He does be on it. I love it. All right, so okay, so this next one really kind of bothered me because it's an article in the New York Post from a guy named Phil Munchnick, which should tell you everything you need to know about this article. But he really kind of went in and he said that the Up and All the Smoke podcast was really the NBA just exploiting trash players for gain. He says he goes on about Matt Barnes' arrest and fines and that he was in a love triangle with Derek Fisher. He talks about Steven Jackson and him being just a deplorable person and him having a fight in a strip club. And then he finishes the article with saying that they only invite black people on the show, including dumpster dweller Snoop Dogg. And then he said, how can the show be considered intelligent when they only feature bottom feeding people? So it was
like Kobe and Steph Curry and what are you talking about, my guy?
He named them in the article. He said they only invite black people like Steph, Kobe, Stephen A. Smith, and dumpster dweller Snoop Dogg. That's quoting his article. So
are you serious? What's his problem? I don't understand.
And this is supposed to be from the New York Post, right?
This is a long time from the New York Post, and I could go into a long list of reasons as to why this was said, but that's a whole nother show. So Jared Dudley took to Twitter to say, this article is trash. All the Smoke is one of the best podcasts / shows out right now. Love the content and guests like Steve Curry, Kobe, Shannon Sharpe, Stephen A. Smith, etc. The way Matt Barnes and Stat gets these players / guests to open up and answer questions is phenomenal, and I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes, Jared.
Me too.
They share things that I don't care who you are as a reporter, how long you've been in the game. If you are not sitting on that couch or now doing it, via virtual, and it's not Matt Barr and Steven Jackson, you're just not getting the same answers. And for our journalists not to be able to recognize that is petty. It's petty.
Yeah. He's literally just like salty. Like, he must have got turned down for some big. He probably asked all these people to interview at one point in time, and they all said no, or he got some regular fluff answer out of them, and now he's mad about it.
I mean,
It's just weird even to say that, even if you don't like Steph, even if you didn't like Kobe or whatever, to say that they're bottom feeders is just, it's not even an accurate statement at all. It's not factual. And
he has a lot of issues. He has issues with the fact that they only bring black guests on, which I'm a fan of that for a couple of reasons. I think that it's good to promote because sometimes we are not portrayed in the best light. So the best way to make sure we are is if we control the content. So I'm a big fan of that, number one. Number two, when you talk about the NBA and the NFL, they're predominantly black. It's really easy to get a whole bunch of black people on your show. So I'm not entirely sure why we would take, especially as a journalist, I get that there's nothing to write about right now. There's nothing to talk about. There's no sport, so you do have to reach. But couldn't you say something, even if you don't like the show, couldn't you say, I wish that they had a more diverse guest panel? You could say stuff like that without just berating the people on the show.
Right.
It just seemed a little bit weird to me.
Yeah.
All right, so this one's going to be a good one for Britt because apparently what we think about Kawhi being kind of socially awkward and not really talking too much is not accurate via text message. Apparently, according to Bleacher Report, Kawhi Leonard talks the most in a group chat. That's what Lou Williams says. Britt, do you believe it?
Yes. Come on. He was not just given this fun guy title for no reason. There must be some truth to it. He must actually really be a fun guy. And it's so funny because he doesn't have any other social media or anything like that. So he's, especially right now, he's probably I need to talk to somebody. So he's probably going crazy in the group chat, because he can't even go on social media and comment to stuff or post anything or say anything. So I bet he probably does talk. A lot of people are like that. They might not talk a lot in person or whatever the case is, but they talk a lot amongst their friends. And that's I totally see that because literally even when he was with the Raptors, he would hang out with Serge all the time. I don't see you hanging out with a guy like that and being a mute and not saying anything,
I called the man a mute. I called him socially awkward. I love Kawhi, though. I think that's his social awkwardness is one of the reasons why we love him.
Yep.
I think that him being able to overcome that with his teammates is dope as well. I would love to hear him say that he's the fun guy in the locker room, but like Britt just said, he has to be a little bit fun. You don't hang out with Serge and be screw.
Yeah, and Lou also said in that interview that he was he is a leader, he's very good at leading the pack and stuff like that. And, everything that we see when he does interviews and stuff, I think it's just awkward for us because he only talks basketball, which is really what they should do. But we've seen when Steph or Chris Paul bring their son out or daughter out or people just have been so open, these athletes, to let you into their life, but Kawhi literally does what they used to do in basketball. I know you guys watched The Last Dance last night and there was that part where they were interviewing Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan's you need to bring Scottie out and ask Scottie about it, right? Because I'm just talking about basketball, and that's literally how it used to be. And I think it's weird now to think that when you do a press conference, you're only going to talk about basketball because most players don't. They're so open with their social media and just talking about their life and what's happening. It is kind of weird to see a player like just talk about basketball, but we just know the stats of Kawhi. We don't know nothing else. And I remember during Christmas time when somebody asked, like, oh, what is you and your family going to do for Christmas? And he's like, I don't tell you guys about my personal business. And then just moved on to the next thing. It's like kind of endearing that he wants to keep a part of himself to himself and his family. I think it's sweet.
Yeah, I think it proves that he's not going after this career for, like, the star power. I don't think he's wanting to be a major celebrity and be in movies and all of that. I like that about him. Jackie, before you move on to your next post-up moment, you forgot one that we have to talk about. Steph.
Oh, no, Steph is next.
Oh, okay. I thought it was...
Maybe I put it out of order. That's my bad. I am not Chris, people.
I know.
All right.
You're doing a great job, though. We really
Thank you. So I think it was a week ago that we talked about Steph trying to put up his basketball hoop all by himself and having parts left over. I don't know. But anyway, he is now at 32 trying to learn how to type. So Ayesha Curry posted this on her IG, if we could get that up. And he's struggling, y'all. He is struggling.
I just don't understand.
Why are you doing this?
How he doesn't know how to type. Like, Steph went to college. He's not one of those guys that went straight to the league from high school. Like, he went to college. Like, what did you... So clearly he's just proving right here that at Davidson, he had people do his papers for him.
Exactly. That's what I was or he was doing the 2-finger, took him like 9 days to type something. Yeah, the caveman thing or something like that. I'm actually really... I got it since I almost skipped this one. So if you ask Devin... One thing, though, I am saying Ayesha Curry, and Britt and I giggled about Ayesha Curry on Friday. I posted it to my Instagram. I got 32 direct messages about I should do bad things to myself versus talk about Ayesha. One specific person said, I better not ever mention Ayesha Curry again on the Fumble, and they will be watching. So if you're watching, Ayesha Curry. Okay, so that's just me.
Yeah, they added me and Devin in one of them too. Yeah.
On Ayesha's page. I don't know.
I don't even think I said anything.
She's like, how did I get in this? But yeah, no. Ayesha Curry. All right, so my fellow King GOAT, James admirer Shannon Sharpe, he also watched The Last Dance on Sunday. Now, I don't know if you guys know, there was a part where Jordan was like, yeah, they were doing all these things in the room, and at the time I didn't smoke, I didn't drink back then. He made sure the lesson was back then, because he definitely drinks now. And if he hadn't done that, Shannon Sharpe was going to blast him anyway, because he posted this to his IG that says, are we pretending we don't see what Mike has sitting in that glass? #yak. Which is the in the world, at least to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Had it?
Well, he was very clear that he didn't do that at that time. But it's so... I actually saw a tweet or whatever, because you know how, like, Michael Jordan's eyeballs are not white, they're, like, brown? Yeah. Somebody said, I am 100% sure that Michael Jordan takes his eyeballs out at the end of the day at nighttime and sits it in the cup of yak when he goes to bed.
Eddie!
I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
That's hilarious. Good. I was like, his eye. What color are his eyes? But yeah,
they're brown, like actual brown.
Yeah. Yep. So this one we're gonna have to investigate since Chris is not here, because when it comes to these trick shots, he is all about the investigation. But this one is super cute. So before we kind of dive in and tell whether we think it's fake or not, let's see the super cute baby bottle flip.
Hey! Oh,
this reaction is the best thing ever.
That's gonna be like
bam.
All right.
So cute.
Do we think that actually happened? Do we think the baby nailed the baby bottle flip? Do we think he did it?
Yes.
I think so, but we need Chris here to tell us, was there some editing magic that happened? Chris is definitely going to say it's fake.
No, Fifi's in the chat. When I first watched it, I think I saw a delay, like a slowing down of the bottle before it landed. So I'm going to go with it's not real. We'll ask Chris.
Give the baby some credit. You can, and then the baby's face is like, you know that baby made it. Like babies can't act that well, Jackie. Come on, girl.
But his mom.
That's a great point.
But his mom might have one little thing that she says that makes the baby go, oh, like, you want a snack? Oh.
No. Stop being a hater, Jackie. Just kidding. None of us can do the bottle flip.
Oh, you're right. Go ahead, baby. Good job, baby. All right, so I kind of alluded to it earlier that I thought Vanessa was having a really tough weekend because it was also April 18th was the anniversary of her and Kobe. They would have celebrated 19 years together. She shared moments all throughout all of her Instagram specifically, and people were sharing, the love as well. Kobe's sister too told Vanessa, she sent this tweet that says, "Thank you for coming into his life. Thank you for making him smile like crazy. Thank you for making him so happy. Happy anniversary. Love you." So that one kind of got me all choked up. So I had to throw that one in there. But the league was giving her shouts out as well, including Pau Gasol and his wife, who sent her a beautiful bouquet of roses on what would have been her 19th anniversary with Kobe. So I thought it was beautiful that she was sharing the love with us, and then people were sharing the love with her as well. Difficult to, so soon after his passing, now you're dealing with the anniversary, and you were together for what would have been 19 years. I know you saw all the posts, Britt. Did you tear up at all?
Yeah, it was and then I believe him and his wife did it like it's from Kobe, like they did it in the little thing, like Love Kobe or something like that, which was, I'm sure, like, it literally makes me like get chills just thinking about it, but that's like super sweet to just think of, like, because I'm sure over social media everybody's sending their love and all of that kind of stuff, but to get like the actual flowers sent to her house, and it's just like an insanely gorgeous bouquet of flowers, knowing like Kobe would do something similar to that, because obviously like he played with Kobe and stuff with the Lakers, so it's just like super sweet to see that little moment of like actual, like, we can't see each other or hug each other or be around each other, but to send those flowers was probably really sweet. And they obviously had to do it ahead of time. They remembered when the anniversary was and made sure they had it get sent to, so they would arrive on that day. So the thought of that is really sweet.
Yeah, and I just think it's beautiful to, like you said, they played together. So having someone who was a teammate with them, kind of making sure that you feel loved and embraced at that moment was beautiful. It was beautiful. But that's all I got. I know I get mad when Chris does this.
Yeah, you left me on a sad moment. Jack,
look, man,
it's my first. Chris gets you back.
Look, I'm Chris impersonation. I got to do it right? I got to do it like he do me. So let's get to WTF moments right now.
All right, so I am taking over Jackie's WTF moments, and I'm also going to be doing Britt's takes. So let me make sure I'm all cleared out here. And again, I am not Jackie, so I probably won't do this as great as Jackie does, but we'll start off this first one. So there was basically a video of Lamar Jackson's former teammate, and his reaction to Lamar Jackson when he got drafted with the 32nd overall pick of the draft a couple years ago. And of course, with the draft coming this Thursday, people are doing all the old little clips and stuff to honor the draft for this year. So the clip was like reposted again, and Lamar Jackson actually commented on it. Can we get the tweet up, please? Commented on it and said, "Brody," with his fingers crossed, and of all people, Donald Trump tweeted back saying, "Really nice to see this, and what a great pick." And then after that, Lamar responded saying, "Trues Trump," which is like slang for trust or whatever. Like, this is the bit, like, just saying Trump tweeting a black player is a WTF in itself. And then the fact that it's Lamar Jackson. And then Lamar Jackson responds back saying, "Truce Trump." Like, hold on. Lamar, don't let me find out.
Yeah, please don't let me find out.
Don't let me find out. He wasn't old enough to, I don't think he was old enough to, oh yeah, he was old enough to vote when Trump was voting. He might not have voted for Trump. That's all I got to say. Lamar, I really like you, my guy. I like you.
I mean, I do, but there's an asterisk by it. I need more information on this specific tweet before I can keep you in the light column.
What's happening here?
Yeah. And I mean, in the middle of this pandemic and Trump, was praising China for being transparent. Now he's like, oh, damn them for being transparent. And he don't you have anything else to do besides tweet on a football player's tweet? You should be, I don't know, dealing with this pandemic. Oh God, it's that man. Or
watching, like the other day, he was saying he was watching 14-year-old baseball games or whatever.
Right.
Like, come on.
What? Yeah. You out here trying, because he's like, oh, I'm just going to bail the big businesses out. It doesn't matter about the little guy. I don't have anything else to do. Let's get on Twitter. That's literally what he's doing right now.
Yeah. And I was like, at first, I'm like, okay, maybe he's trying to get like a black voters back or whatever, because the election's going to be coming up. So let me hit up like Lamar Jackson, who's like, the star black quarterback in the league or whatever. But the fact that Lamar messaged him back is where all the questions start going in my head. Like, are y'all friends?
Oh God.
I know.
Comment section, let us know what you guys think. Do you think that Lamar and Donald Trump are buddies?
It's weird also because we've seen so many athletes who openly oppose Donald Trump. So then to have somebody come forward and be like, yo.
And Lamar Jackson of all people.
I was going to say, black guy come forward and like, Lamar, you supposed to be like, your name is Lamar. Like, that's
right.
You're like, what are we talking about right now? Yeah, it's a little weird.
Little weird. So the next one is kind of a little weird that I'm actually doing. I guess this is what WTF is all about, right? So, and of course I'm doing this, Michael Jordan fan over here, but we all know Michael Jordan is like one of the hardest working guys. Like, he was never a natural great basketball player. He didn't make his high school team, as Jackie had talked about earlier. Even when he went into a freshman at UNC, like the coach said, Dean Smith said he struggled a lot and all that kind of stuff. And just every year he kept seeing him get better and better and better. Well, a guy that's super competitive with basketball is also competitive with everything else. We also remember the story of him trying to cheat an old lady in a game of cards. He's a competitive guy. But there is one thing that this man can't control, and that is the size of his eggplant. Oh. And apparently, Scottie Pippen won the battle. So a former Bulls assistant coach said this, because we're all telling old school stories about Michael Jordan now, and said Scottie was very blessed down below, and that killed Michael. Coach went on to say this: you have seen the girls Pippen had in the locker room and everywhere he went. Madonna used to actually pick him up in a limo with a hot tub in it every time we went to LA. Michael used to tell Madonna he could satisfy her better, to which Madonna looked at him and said, no chance. So, I don't know, I guess that was like the Kardashian of that era, because she also, Dennis Rodman actually had a story about Madonna literally trying to fly him out to Vegas to meet up with her so he could get her pregnant because she wanted to have Dennis Rodman's baby. So I guess she was dating everybody on the Bulls but Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan was a little salty about that. What do you guys think?
I mean, you can't win them all. But
like, why do they all want it? I don't understand this wanting to be with the same woman. We're seeing it with this Katya Elise Henry in the present day NBA. Why do they all want to be with Madonna? Like, be with someone new and fresh.
I heard Madonna used to be a tricker, though. Obviously, Scottie Pippen, we know that he didn't make that much money when he was playing on the Bulls at the time, and Madonna used to like cash out these players. So.
Get that money somehow. Scottie was on a budget.
This is literally a WTF. Like, I can't even do it. I can't even believe the assistant coach would tell the story like, oh, well, Scottie was well endowed, but Michael wasn't like the guy in that department, and Madonna wasn't having, like, what?
I know we see these on like these corny little horror films where guys compare. I didn't know that really happened in real life. I didn't know that men in real life would be like, hey, look at mine. I'm not looking at, no.
Classic. Well, the next one, I guess it has to do with a porn star. Maybe she could hit up Scottie and Michael Jordan and see what's up over there, as long as they don't have any dogs. Because a girl named Kat, she's a porn star. She was at DeAndre Ayton's house. Well, his girlfriend wasn't there because, side chicks got to come around when the girlfriend's gone. So his girlfriend wasn't there. And apparently dogs are not just a man's best friend. They're also a woman's best friend. So, but depending on the woman, because the girl posted this on her social media, DeAndre Ayton's untrained ass dog bit me, I tell you. The dog attacked the side chick when the girlfriend wasn't there. Now, I need to know where this man got this dog at so I can get my future boyfriend this dog to make sure no side chicks come around. Like, that dog, I like this dog, okay? Like, this dog is the GOAT, making sure, like, that his girlfriend got that dog trained properly. I don't know why the girl said it's an untrained-ass dog. Nah, that dog is trained very well.
That's a good dog. Yeah. That is a good dog. I saw something similar on Instagram last year. A lady had bought a parrot, and every time the husband had the side chick over, he would call her a F&B. So every time the side chick was there, the parrot would go, "You effing right." It was great. I need that parrot, and I need the dog. Yes. That's all I need in my life.
That's the best security system you'll ever have.
Right.
Seriously.
Yep.
All right, so that is going to do it for WTF moments. We are now headed over to Brit's Take. So for Brit's Take today, we're going to be talking a little bit about what we kind of talked about earlier in the show, but I'm going to go in a little more depth. Obviously, this show today is going to be heavily Michael Jordan. Last Dance was yesterday. Let's see. I gotta switch over to my Brit's Take section, guys.
See what happens, Chris? Do you see we're all over the place right now because you're not here?
Yes. Okay. So, Jerry Reinsdorf, who is the owner for the Bulls, and he was the owner for the White Sox as well. I gotta say something to you, my guy. You ain't getting off the hook here. I'm about to go in on you real quick. So, I know you guys watched Last Dance last night. And in it, there was a mini battle of the whole show that was a Jerry versus Jerry. And Reinsdorf did a very good job at putting the other Jerry in a place that made him look like he was the bad guy, right? So let's remember Reinsdorf hired Jerry Krause, and that means Reinsdorf is his boss, and he can tell him what to do. He was able to get even though Krause didn't want Phil Jackson, had issues with Phil Jackson, he was able to get Phil Jackson to come back on that one-year deal for $6 million or whatnot, which is why The Last Dance was created, was all about the last time Phil Jackson was going to be coaching there. And he kind of put everything off on Jerry Krause, like, well, oh, that's Jerry, he did this, and I couldn't, my hands were tied. No, they're not, you're the boss. So during the segment, we talked about, a little bit earlier, about Scottie Pippen, and that he had signed this 7-year, $18 million deal, which was a terrible deal. Now, to Reinsdorf's point, he did tell Scottie Pippen, do not sign this deal, this is not a good deal, and all this kind of stuff, but a lot of people know Scottie Pippen at the time had some back issues, and so he, not only with the back issues, but coming from extreme poverty, where he literally was one of a bunch of kids, and his dad wasn't able to work, and he came from real poverty in the South, and he's looking at this like, okay, my back could go out tomorrow, but if I sign this 7-year, $18 million deal, I'm still guaranteed all of this money. But looking at the flip side, which is what happened, he ends up having this extraordinary career, and for the big chunk of it, when he was winning all the championships with the Bulls, he was literally the 122nd worst or highest paid athlete in the league. So that is very, very low, considering you're literally one of the top 3 players in the league at the time. So he said all this stuff, and Reinsdorf's literally saying, well, I told him not to sign the deal, but bro, you're the owner of the team. I don't understand why when it comes, because we hear this in football all the time, players restructuring their contracts or renegotiating, and they're always taking less money during that time in order to get under the salary cap so then they can sign another player and possibly win a championship or whatever. This happens all the time in the NFL. NFL players' contracts are restructured or renegotiated. Tom Brady is the #1 poster person for restructuring his contract all the time to take less and less money. So you're telling me, as the owner of the team, you couldn't do something to where you gave Scottie Pippen more money? Really? And let's also put into perspective, at this time, when Scottie did sign this deal, the league was not doing very well. So, like, it was considered kind of a decent deal at the time. The market changed quickly after because they started winning all these championships or whatnot. So at that time, you couldn't then say, dang, I feel really bad that Scottie's getting paid so little. Let me help him out. Let me throw some cash at him this way, or let's restructure it in some way, or whatever the case is. Like, I am so confused by this man literally just let this guy sit here and not make any money. Now, granted, after the fact, when he left and played in the league longer, he ended up making some money back. You know, he obviously, we talked about earlier, he made $109 million compared to Jordan. I think Jordan made $92 or $96 million or whatever during his NBA career. But like that $18 million 7-year deal, you let him just sit in and rot. And you said your hands were tied and you couldn't do anything about it. My guy, my question to you guys is this a lesson to all players to not sign long-term deals? I know we give Kevin Durant flack all the time for signing those 1 or 2 year deals that he did with the Warriors, but looking back at it now, is that the best thing to do, to sign short-term deals versus these long-term deals? Jackie, what do you think?
So I've always been, I think we love the lifer players as fans. We love that. We love the lifetime Kobe Bryant. We love the lifetime Michael Jordan. But, one of the things that I've said from day one, and it's because, I'm from Denver, where we've had trash teams as far as basketball, almost my whole life. And you see people just say, okay, you will get these players that come in, they're committed to the team, they're trying to build, and then an opportunity comes for the team that they feel can put them in a better situation, and then they'll just get rid of a player. So I've always said, sign that shorter deal, because you are your own brand. You are your own business. You have to look out for your best interest. Damn us and what we think. Yes, we want you to be there for life, but this is your money, your family, your best interest. And I think I've also said that when you get somebody like a Scottie Pippen, who his brother was in a wheelchair, his dad was in a wheelchair, he comes from 12 kids, and like you said, in the middle of poverty, and you say 18 million, you could say 18 million over 30 years. That person is going to hear 18 million. And so it was definitely a shady move. They knew exactly the situation and the mindset that Scottie Pippen was in. I'm going to have to say...
And then with the back injury as well, like they knew he was up against the wall.
They knew all of that, and so they exploited that. And I agree with you, because at the same time, you have to say, okay, Michael Jordan, being all that he is, didn't win anything until Scottie got there. You can't really have Batman without Robin. It just didn't work. So Scottie, in my opinion, we saw last night that Jordan said he was selfish, and Phil Jackson also said he didn't think he handled it right, but he understood. I think Scottie handled that exactly right, because I'm very much team, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to pay me, then I'm going to use this surgery as a reason to get out of this situation where I'm not getting paid. I do think the owner could have stepped in and said, I appreciate it on both sides. I appreciate him saying, this is my GM. I want my GM to be in charge of this situation. This is his job. I think sometimes we have too many owners that are trying to control the GM. That's when you get
me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what that's like. Yeah. The Cowboys are an excellent example, because I think that we would still probably be in the middle of a dynasty if Jerry would ever let a GM be a GM. Yeah. Because sometimes, you're not
a coach be a coach, for that matter.
Yeah. So, poor Jason Garrett, and that's one of the things I've always said about him. Do we even know if he can coach? Because he's been doing whatever Jerry told him to do.
Yep.
So I think that you have to take off the reins sometime and say, look, I trust this person. I've hired them because I think they can make my team better. I'm going to let them go and have it. So I respect that half of it. But when you realize you're losing, you're robbing, then you have to say, okay, let this be your idea. Tell them you said this, but I'm telling you right now, you need to pay Scottie more money. You need to restructure. Say it's a one-off because you did a bad deal. Whatever you need to do, but do not lose Scottie Pippen. And for damn sure, don't lose Phil Jackson. Don't come out and publicly say, this is last year. That's crazy to me that he let all that happen as an owner.
Right.
But he did.
Yep. What do you think, Devin?
Yeah, I think that when you're an athlete, you have to think of things from a business standpoint, and if having a shorter deal gives you the flexibility to renegotiate or go somewhere else to get more money. But yeah, like you were saying, Jackie, we love the people that are with a team for a long time. We like it when they stay loyal, but ultimately you have to think about what's going to be best for yourself. So I agree with you 100%, Jackie. You said it really well.
What about, we talked about, was it last week or the week before, having players in the front office. Do you think Scottie Pippen gets this same whack deal if it's a former player that's kind of in charge of negotiating these deals?
I don't think so. I think if the former athlete's in the front office, he's going to be looking out for the well-being of the athletes that are currently playing, for sure. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah. Which is a huge. That was with the Jerry Krause situation. He did build this team. Like before the Chicago Bulls were nothing, and then he was able to build a team like this. So he did do his job in that matter. But like we all watched in the documentary last night, he had the little man syndrome. They said he was always a short little fat guy. And then you see all these like big, like in shape, tall, like handsome, like black guys coming in, and like, and he's going to be salty about it. So, but I think you get to a point where it's like you said, you don't want to lose the Robin. So, and you didn't want to lose Phil. Like Jerry did, Reinsdorf had to step in and do the Phil Jackson thing for 1 year because Phil was already about to leave the year before that because of Krause. So at that point, he did step in and say, no, Phil, 1 more year, please. Just give us 1 more year or whatever. But like when it gets to a point where a guy is literally costing you a team that has won 5 championships already with both of these guys on the team and this guy as the coach, and he's rallying those people up, he's pissing those people off. At one point, you got to say, okay, maybe you need to go somewhere, Krause, because we are continuing. Now we're in the middle of winning, and like Michael Jordan said when they did that little glance, like, oh, what's going to be the thing that's going to mess up the season? And he glanced at Jerry's office, like, for all the guys and the star quality that has been created, and then Michael Jordan saying, like, you have to remember, like, you don't have this without us being here. Like we won the 5 championships. Yes, you helped put like the chess things in place or whatever, but like you didn't play the game, like you helped set up the board, but you didn't play the game. So like at the end of the day, you're going to take the person who won the game over the person who just set up the board, So like, I think that at that point, that's when the owner should have stepped in and said like, okay, you need to chill a little bit because now you're taking this power too much to your head or you're whatever, and it's going to cost us championships and games because of it. And it did. We saw that whole clip of all in November when Scottie wasn't playing. They were losing because they didn't expect Scottie to not play at that time. So they were like trying to gel and figure each other out and didn't know what was going on. And they all said Scottie was the one, Michael Jordan included, said that Scottie was the one that was the facilitator more of the team, like, so I think it's like crazy as a owner to like literally let your stuff fall away like that, go away like that just because of this little guy that has like little man complex.
Right.
All right, you guys. Well, we're at the time that we wrap up our show. So it was fun doing it with you ladies. I think this is the second time that we've done it without Chris. Yeah. It was a good time, but we'll have Chris back on probably tomorrow. I'm not really sure when he's coming back on, but I'm guessing tomorrow, maybe not. Forget I said anything. Anyway, tune in 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Subscribe, tap the bell, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye. That's 12 o'clock on the dot?